Hey everybody, the Johnny Cage here, welcoming you to Shovel Knight, one of my new favorite games of all time, very much in the same vein as Mega Man and other platforming classics of the NES era. I've been wanting to play this game for a while, and I feel like now's as good a time as any, so here we go. Let's jump right into a new adventure. Go with classic Johnny Shovel Knight, of course. As you can see, I've played this game a couple of times. It's very difficult on New Game Plus mode, though. But anyhow, here's the story. Long ago, the lands were untamed and roamed by legendary adventurers. Of all heroes, none shone brighter than Shovel Knight and Shield Knight. But their travels together ended at the Tower of Fate, when a cursed amulet wrought a terrible magic. When Shovel Knight awoke, the tower was sealed, and Shield Knight was gone. His spirit broken, a grieving Shovel Knight went into a life of solitude. It's one heck of a farm you got there, Shovel Knight. Very nice. But without champions, the land was seized by a vile power, the Enchantress and her Order of No Quarter. What a great picture, too. Love the artwork in here. Now, the tower is unsealed, and devastation looms. A new adventure is about to begin. And that, my friends, is how the story begins. Sharpen thy shovel, if thou art brave enough to embrace yourself on the adventure that is Shovel Knight! Yes, dig that dirt! So, yeah, they really pushed this whole fact that he uses a shovel as a weapon pretty far. I mean, this game, it's really beautiful, and I've heard that the creators of it, Yacht Club Games, this is their first game, by the way, they actually stuck to the original color set that the NES had available to itself, which would make sense, because Shovel Knight's default armor is in blue, and that's the same reason that Mega Man was in blue, was because there were more shades of blue than any other color in the NES palette, so it just made sense to go that route. But, great game. I mean, for a company that had never made a game before, I think they really got what they wanted out of this. As you can see, whole lot of collecting if that's kind of your thing, and a great way of introducing you to the basic mechanics of the game, too, in this intro level. Obviously, there's the famous Ego Raptor video talking about how awesome Mega Man X's intro is as far as getting you to understand the controls of the game without it being so in your face, and I think they do a great job of it here as well. That little flaming orb there, that's a checkpoint. You can destroy those if you want, as a little bit of an added challenge to yourself. You know, don't recommend it necessarily, at least not the first time through, but I like that the option is there. And then you got giant monsters like this dragon that just, oh man, they scream those awesome big monsters you would find, you know, in certain Mega Man levels. So, I was so happy that this game came out and did everything that I wanted it to. So I played it a couple times. It's a very, very difficult game on New Game Plus. If you played this on New Game Plus, oh my gosh! It reminds me of basically playing Kirby's Adventure, or rather Kirby's Dream Land. Yes, on the Game Boy, the very first Kirby game. That game's the same way, where it's on its normal difficulty, really easy. On its harder difficulty, ridiculously hard. Yeah, on the harder difficulty, there's just no health anywhere. Constant bombs, everything does a lot more damage to you. But, yeah, so we're not going to play it on that difficulty. That's a little much. And I'm not going to be nearly as good at this as I am a lot of the Mega Man games I've played before in the past, but I'm definitely going to have just as much fun with it. So as you can see here, lots of little hidden stuff, like walls that have kind of like little knots in them that you can break. Those are different depending on what level you're in, but there's always something that kind of stands out. You'll get these occasional dirt on the wall that you can break apart. And you got two basic attacks. You got the short-range shovel attack, which I'm not a fan of, because normally it will knock you back, too, when you're hitting an enemy with it. There are items later on you can get to prevent that and kind of change yourself up. You can even change your armor that will give you different attributes later on. And right here is our first look at some health in the game. Good old giant turkey. At least it wasn't in a wall. So we have that going for us. But I love how in-depth they got in this game. They really tried to make it sort of more of an RPG-ish kind of game in that sense, as we'll start to experience later on as we get some money and just advance further. And believe me, I'm not going to be picking up every little bit of money I see. That's not my thing. I know a lot of people get OCD about coin collecting and money grabbing in a game like this, but no way. That's just too much for me. And oh my gosh, did I mention I'm not as good at this as I am Mega Man? I mean, wait, I mean, I meant to do that, to show you what happens when you die. Yes, let's go with that. It's a much better idea. Now, so when you do die in this game, though, and I'm going to be dying a lot, so get ready for, half an hour videos where I'm dying. Well, actually, I hope it's not that bad, but I forgot I didn't go this way. I died going this way. But there are going to be a lot of times where I'm going to have to, probably prepare myself for levels that are coming up, because some of the later levels in this game, man, dude, they get hard. And I think a lot of it is that it's kind of like that old Mega Man trope almost, even though you don't collect enemies' powers in this game. I personally find the levels to be much, much more difficult than the bosses themselves. I mean, the bosses are fun and really original with the way that they are, but I mean, when it comes to these levels, my god, like mastering the mechanics of it, there's just, that's what it's all about. And I like that you can also use as pretty much your primary attack the old school, DuckTales bouncing on the cane, but bouncing on the shovel. I think that that's the way to go as far as attacking in this game. I just don't trust a long distance or short distance attack here. And what about that treasure chest? How do I get that, you might ask? Well, this is kind of strange, because there wasn't any real indicator there other than you go up and you can see it. So there wasn't anything in the wall to lead you to believe. So I don't know how many of those there are, but you know what I do love? That. Oh, the animation of him just piling through a chest like that, that's so awesome. Like, that's exactly how everyone would just rummage through, like, some sort of treasure chest, right? I mean, if you're not a human being if you wouldn't do that, just overjoyed, just yanking all the stuff out of it. But, stupid camouflage slime guy there. But, anyhow, so, getting back to my point, levels in here, a bit more difficult than the bosses. I'm sure that people could say otherwise, but I found that to be the case more times than not. And, oh, geez, bubble attack. I did not expect that so soon, at least. And another one of these. Hopefully I don't fall in the pit here. That would be a little disturbing. A little saddening, too. But, awesome. We got that moving right along. Come on, skeleton. Huh? What do you want to do? Yeah, that's right. You kill yourself. Skeletons would. I didn't even know that he was going to do that, to be honest. He just went for it, man. That skeleton was living. And he just was like, I'm going to go today, I'm going to kill that Shovel Knight, and that's going to be the end of that. But I really hope they make a sequel to this game, or they make something along the same lines, because it really shows you how great you can make an old school platformer like this with the same kind of mechanics as those old kind of games. You just don't see it a lot nowadays. So that's definitely awesome, though, that they're utilizing kind of the retro game throwback stuff. They should have made a cartridge of this, now that I think about it. I don't know if they could have. It's probably too large of a game to do that, because I know they did fake cartridges for the new DuckTales remastered when that came out, but they didn't really. I don't think you could have. I know you couldn't have fit that onto a cartridge, but considering this used the color palette of the NES, I'm surprised they didn't try to go that route. Although I bet, I don't know, going to MakeFest, kind of a good tie-in. So maybe I'll find a cartridge of this there on the NES. That'd be pretty cool. But first, I knew you'd show your face sooner or later, the Cerulean coward. Turn back, Shovel Knight. There's nothing here for you anymore. Stand aside, Black Knight. I've no quarrel with you. I must return to the Tower of Fate. Your time away has dulled your senses. Can't you see? This entire valley has been conquered by the Enchantress, and her invincible knights of the Order of No Quarter stand between you and the tower. But none of that matters, because anyone after the Enchantress has to go through me. Steal thy shovel! Hurrah! And we get our fine little Dr. Wily kind of laugh there. And boom! There's our first boss fight in the game against the Black Knight, who is really, for all intents and purposes, the proto-man of this game. But we'll get into that later on as the story starts to kind of unveil. He's got two basic attacks, and I'm just doing terrible here. Jeez, I gotta get a hold of the situation. So he'll do that jump and dive 4 times, After that, it's a good time to strike him. He'll also do the purple fireball, which you can reflect back at him and just get a good, awesome shot in right there. Later on, when you start having magic, and yes, there's magic in this game, that's what that blue vial that says 30 next to it, that's what that indicates. Some pretty cool powers that you get, and it actually, some of them, a little broken if you ask me, but maybe that's just my thought on it. But boom! Oh, epic death! Yes! Shovel Knight! Shovel Knight! Shovel Knight! Yeah! You cannot defeat the unstoppable Shovel Knight. I love his little poses. And the Dark Knight, as usual, runs off. But what would you expect from a Black Knight, right? And then you get these cool little cutscenes that really add kind of a mysteriousness to the game overall. Just kind of relaxing after a long battle with the bad guys and letting myself fall off into dreamland. But what's this? Could it be? Shield Knight? Falling from the sky? This looks like some sort of a job for Shovel Knight. I must catch her. But where is she? Catch her, you fool! No! I actually don't know what happens if you don't catch her. I would assume nothing because it's a dream, but it may have an impact on the game somehow. I don't know. If anyone knows, feel free to mention it without giving away too much of what happens later on in the game. But and hey, kids, pro tip of the day: always put out a fire. Don't just leave a fire unattended. All right, it's important. You actually do get an achievement for that, which is pretty cool. And so here's the world. Very briefly, we got a whole big old world to explore. And halt! No weapons. We have enough to worry about lately with everyone swinging swords around. Ha ha ha! That's no weapon, just a shovel. You may enter then, and don't forget, press up to talk to everyone. Hey, thanks a lot for breaking the fourth wall there, buddy. Alright, well, I gotta talk to the bard. Hail, traveler! I am but a simple bard, but I have a big problem. I've lost all my music sheets. My entire repertoire is scattered across the land. Oh, does it now? If you ever find the music sheet, return it to me, and I shall reward you handsomely. Whoa! You have 2 music sheets! Magnificent! Take 500 gold for each! Oh, this is wonderful! Let's see here. Oh, you found the rival! Ooh, Black Knight has fine musical taste. Should have studied composition, but then I suppose I'd be the one with the rival. Now that I have this music sheet, I can perform it for you anytime. Just ask. Thanks a lot, Bard. You really put a smile on my face. What about you? You look way too happy, lady. Ooh, you got a pretty face. I don't know about that. But, so yeah, bring magic sheets. Bring music sheets to the Bard. He'll give you money for them, a lot of money too. And then you can play the music if you want while you're hanging out here in this village. Meanwhile, talking to Mr. Goat, he's going to give us a meal ticket for 1,000 Gs, not a bad deal, and that will permanently increase our health by 1 full circle, and in this version, playing it on the normal difficulty, circle counts for 2 hits, and I'm going to roll the dice here, and I'm going to spend all my money early on getting 2 health increases. Why? Well, I don't know. I just hate dying on screen, you know, it kind of bothers me, especially with an audience watching, so health, pretty useful. I could have spent it on some magical items that are available down the ladder there. I'll show them off still, but I think we'll worry about getting those next time, and we're not in any sort of trouble yet. I mean, this game has a very good curve. I mentioned it does get much more difficult later on, but at first, nah, anyone could play this game. I mean, you don't need to be a retro guru, and magic, well, that's just literally useless at upgrading right now. No point in that. Oh, the Spectre Knight. If someone could defeat him, I would bestow upon them my greatest treasure. Okay. What about you, deposed king? Oh, woe is me, the king of nothing, not to rule. King Knight sits on Primedor Mor's throne. Yeah, this and that. So, yeah, and then you got this witch over here who basically tells you all of your stats. I kind of forgot about her, but, yeah, so once you go kill the, Knights of the Order of No Quarter in this area, these guys will kind of help you out, if you will. So, actually, that's not even a good word for it. They're just there to kind of give you some insight on the enemies, I suppose. Hey, Shovel Knight, I know things are tough, but don't throw in the trowel. So, yeah, these guys, especially this guy, the Acolyte. Hello, fish friend, all hail the Triple King. So, yeah, the Triple King is kind of like this big fish god, and this guy sells chalices that we can put stuff in to give us some upgrades on the spot. But this guy, Mr. Chester over here, oh, he's got some merchandise for us to check out. He's got the fishing rod and the Chaos Sphere, which, The fishing rod kind of speaks for itself, but the Chaos Sphere is a very strange weapon that I never really got a good grasp of. There's one boss in particular that it works really well on, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone utilizes it regularly. It's one of those items that I feel is kind of very in fact. So anyhow, one last thing before we get out of this village. Sigh, I suppose peaceful solitude is too much to ask for. Well, as long as you're here, shall you help me pass the time with a little game? Just need 100 gold. Oh, at least I have 100 gold. Conjure up some things and you can hit them toward the target for points. Sounds like fun to me. In fact, I'm really not a fan of this game. It's kind of the only game like this that's a mini-game within the game. But, it's not really my thing. It's, kind of tricky to play with. I should also mention too that in case you don't have a really good controller available to you, I use my Logitech USB controller for this game. Works wonderfully. Probably the best game that I've ever played to utilize that controller. This or Retro City Rampage, which is another game I should get to one of these days. That's also really fun. But so if you don't have an Xbox or PS3 controller available, or for whatever the hell you're using nowadays. Just want you to know the options are definitely there, and I am not doing a very good job of hitting these little jars. I need to get the red ones more than anything, but oh, so much goodness. Oh, so much goodness, and I just let it all go. Oh, what a shame. I don't know how you're supposed to get all these. I suppose if you came back here with magic later on, you'd get a lot more points. That makes sense. You got 191 points. Yawn. Well, color me impressed. Okay, went from being bored to impressed. I'll take that, I suppose. Got another music sheet for it, so can't complain. I forgot that I even got that, so probably a good thing I grabbed it. Money is obviously much more important than it is going to be later on. And the last little area of the village, little kid and his little ring. You can actually get an achievement for bouncing on that enough times, and this lady's just ecstatic. She knows I'd be shoveling like no one's business. And here we got the Milk Maiden. Come over here a little bit further to the right. Just a wee bit more, and there we are. And up here we got a little bit of village goodness awaiting us. Just some more treasure in the pocket and another music sheet. And finally we can go talk to the old hermit, who is definitely supposed to be the old hermit guy from Monty Python's Holy Grail. But you know, I think it's kind of a lost little nod. But anyhow. So, hey, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This has been the Johnny Cage. Next time, we are going to take on the first knight in the Order of No Quarter and probably go see the Triple King himself and, hell, maybe some other stuff. Until then, guys, thanks a lot for watching. This has been the Johnny Cage. Talk to all of you awesome people later on.